Welcome to part 7 of Blaster Master 03. We got some teleporting action we need to do in the sky. The atmosphere section is one of the more stranger areas of the game. You got several screens that are separated from each other, and you gotta take these portals to get around. Not to mention that you have super dimensional space portals that open up with the normal portals, and you gotta take those around in order to get to where you need to go too. Use Aqua Shift on the thin fences in order to pass through them. If the fences are electrified, you'll still pass through them, but the tackle will then become weaponized. The normal Aqua Shift as is will just pass through enemies and give you invincibility frames. But if you use an electrical fence to your advantage, you can kill enemies with that, and it will just become a normal tackle at that point. This area, even though it has the weird setup that it does, it's not really that hard. You can just look at the map and you can tell where you're at all times. The portals will take you to the same places no matter what, and yeah, that's basically it. I thought I had another point there, but I guess not. Just following the portals and looking at the map will lead you to your destination. Here's this crazy eye-shaped target reticle thing. I don't know what it is. If it manages to complete its scanning, enemies will endlessly spawn into this location. And that's annoying because they spawn in hallways where you can't really fit around them without taking touch damage, and just when you think you've killed them, they spawn back in just as quickly as you've murdered them. So you kind of have to run through everything. This dungeon is not fun. I kind of hate it actually. If only for that one section where you're trying to fit through the hallways. Picked up another main SP up. The more of those you collect, the more energy you can store for your cannons, and vice versa for your blue gauge as well. The amount of energy that's expended on a weapon depends on the weapon's type. So say for example the Aqua Shift. It will gradually but very slowly take away from the blue bar the more you use it, because just like the Burn Spark from 2, you can mash your button repeatedly in order to keep the momentum going. The Ignition Spark on the other hand will always take a huge chunk of SP out of the blue side regardless, because it's a way bigger attack than say the Aqua Shift. Just keep those attributes in mind when you're using the items and weaponries of the G-SOPHIA SV. That's still the stupidest name ever. No wonder why Jason's so embarrassed. He just named it the Supreme Vehicle. Oh god. Why not just call it the Jasonator or something? Or call it the Eve of Destruction. I don't know. Just name it something cool instead of the Supreme I forgot that enemy existed. Okay then, that was random. Let's get out of here. Oh, what the hell is going on here? I need to get out of here. This place sucks. Anyway, back to the naming conventions. I guess the couple wanted to name it after Sophia still, but they built it on Earth. And the other tanks don't have the Sophia naming conventions despite being built on Sophia. Or technically Nora, but still. Why not just call the battle tank the Gaia or the Terra instead of just slapping two names together like Gaia and Sophia? And then just slapping another useless name like the Supreme Vehicle. I know why, because they're egotists. Or maybe Jason and Eve were delirious when they were rebuilding and then renaming the tank. They did have to fight Joe Revo, who is apparently the strongest mutant in the universe. And now Eve is apparently a mutant after that whole debacle, so that does not bode well for our mutant, robot, human buddy pal. I'm still wondering if she has ovaries, I don't know. I mentioned this before in the BMC1 playthrough, but I think she does now. She has organs. You're probably thinking, man, you're the biggest pervert on the planet for even thinking something like this. But if you played the original continuity of Blaster Master games, then you would know that Eve did have children at one point or another. And then she died. And then Jason died. And those children became orphans. Goddamn. Oh. Well, on the brighter side of things, at least in that continuity, the children took up the mantle of Blaster Master and support. In this continuity, hopefully things turn out for the best. Hopefully. I doubt it. Jason and Eve are the stars of the show, and killing the main characters of the show can lead to a bit of backlash. Last of Us 2! Oh shit, I gotta get this cough checked out. Damn. Don't worry, I will finish The Last of Us Part 2 after this game, trust me. I got like 3 games to go before this year ends. This purple color is not being too friendly to my capture. It's blurry all over the place. Time for an upgrade. Can't do 720p forever. Especially with games like this where you zoom all over the place like a madman. Or at least that's just me, but I like to zoom across like really quickly. I don't know why. Speedrunning strategies, that's why. I'll focus on that later. Anyway, this super dimensional dungeon is so easy that it ends just as quickly as it begins. Yeah, this guy doesn't look properly scaled at all. This must be the boss mutant we detected. This one might be able to move in super dimensional space using the ruptures, just like the other boss. I need to be careful. If it escapes into the rupture, I'll track it down with the VRV system. Mantipede is really tough. He'll run across the screen and try to ram into you. He's also got a couple of homing projectiles that'll shoot towards you. You can just use the X Shredder or the blast counter in order to stun him. And now looking at this overblown sprite work kind of reminds me of El Viento on the Sega Genesis. I'm not sure if you played that game. Probably not. But El Viento likes to use overblown sprite work too in a much more dated way. Because that game kind of looks terrible at points. I guess that's what they were trying to do with this guy, but he just comes across as looking kind of cheap. And that's really weird because the rest of the game looks really good. As it should, because it came out a couple of months ago. But the strategy is pretty simple for this guy. Just use X Shredder whenever you get shot, or about to get shot, in order to block the projectiles coming your way. And when he tries to ram at you, you just spin dash out of the way. Pretty simple to deal with, but again, how fast he comes, it can get a bit much to deal with at points. Here's phase 2 of the boss, which is easier than phase 1 if you can believe it or not. What you have to do is ram into him with your Aqua Shift, which actually hurts him. He will do much of the same and try to ram towards you for payback, but it's not going to work because you got the invincibility frames and he don't. And also the sprite scaling is a bit normal in this form. This is the access key to Area E. We can use this to zip straight over to Stranga. Eve is somewhere inside the superdimensional space on Sophia. The thought of her getting further and further away from me really makes me anxious, and that sense of urgency is creeping in, but... Eve, I'll be back to save you real soon. Please, just hang in there. Hey, Mr. Optimistic, I gotta ask you something. You're not gonna like it. What is it? A question for the boy genius who eradicates boss mutants with ease and once saved his home planet. If Eve truly becomes a mutant and killing her is the only option, what's your grand plan, boy genius? Kill her yourself? Like that boss mutant just now. Damn, Leibniz is throwing it out there. How dare you? I saved my home planet, huh? That's right, Leibniz couldn't save his planet from the mutant invasion. He even lost his support droid. I can only imagine the pain he must feel from all that. Leibniz, you're right to say that I wouldn't like your question. You say all sorts of things I don't like either, by the way. But hey, I just hope you're prepared for when the time comes. What you're asking about is the absolute worst possible outcome. I'm prepared to do everything it takes to save Eve before then. Whatever you say. Just suffer a bit in the end before you bite it. Come on now, let's get a move on. Hurry and do everything it takes. Yeah. This is why I like Leibniz's character. He's one of those people that will just give you real talk when you need it. The Anti-SF ammo is a shot type for G-SOPHIA's main cannon. The shots have high penetration and speed and can snipe faraway enemies. It works best on mechanical enemies with tough armor. Just as the name implies, it should work well against SF drones. Well, it looks like it's about that time of year again. Time to visit Stranga and meet Kana again. Sorry, Eve, I hope you don't get too jealous. We're going to meet Kana for a little bit. You know what? I don't think Eve is the jealous type. I'm not saying that she'll be up for a threesome, but she's not the jealous type. I'll just put it like that. Now all we have to do is go to the portal with the strain. Oh, I said that totally backwards. Let me backtrack. Now all we have to do is go to the screen with the portals that will lead us to Stranga. Just follow the map. It shouldn't be too much longer before we reach our destination. The superdimensional space and space side of things are pretty much one and the same here. There's no real difference. It may look like I can't get that energy guard, but just use the Aqua Shift and you'll phase right through those walls. The Aqua Shift does not work on the distortions though. You'll still take a hit or at the very worst die if you don't have any energy guards up. And with that, we're at our final destination. Onward to Stranga! Ribbit ribbit! We arrived on Stranga, but it feels like we've landed somewhere new. Stranga is a creature of chaos. It looks familiar, but different. Just as freaky as always. I really didn't want to come back here. Well, too bad. We gotta see big boobs. Keep complaining like that and we'll be here forever. Let's go find Kana and Kenwood. Ribbit? Well, couldn't stay away from this place for too long. I'll see you in part 7 of Blaster Master 03. Future me here. This video was actually supposed to be the last half of the previous video I uploaded last week, so never mind what I just said. See you in part 8, not part 7. This is part 7 right now.